I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Was I surprised? I wasn't. I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised, because if you have peripheral vision, you're going to sense these things out of the corner of your eye. You can't not know that this has been going on rampantly.
This woman is extraordinarily woke, as everyone is in Hollywood, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. People like me, who watched Disney princess movies when the world was okay, and it was acceptable for us to dream about being a princess as a woman and meeting a handsome prince. But oh no, these big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince.
And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
Pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Hollywood's most powerful directors just did something unprecedented. Steven Spielberg and Francis Lawrence didn't just quietly distance themselves from Rachel Zegler. They allegedly coordinated a brutal takedown that has completely frozen her out of the industry.
Never let anybody tell you can't do what you in your heart know you can.
Hello, I'm Francis Lawrence. I'm the director of The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, Mockingjay 1, Mockingjay 2, and also The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
What happened behind closed doors is far worse than anyone imagined. Two legendary filmmakers declaring war on a rising star doesn't happen by accident. This was calculated, methodical, and absolutely devastating. Hollywood insiders are calling it the Zegler effect, a cautionary tale of how quickly a promising career can implode. The trouble began on Spielberg's set. The man who launched countless A-list careers immediately noticed something was different about Zegler. She wasn't just inexperienced, she was reportedly uncoachable. Sources claim she challenged blocking notes mid-scene, argued over dialogue written decades ago, and rolled her eyes when technical crew adjusted her position. One insider revealed she even refused reshoots unless her creative instincts were honored first. Spielberg, who's worked with everyone from Tom Hanks to Meryl Streep, was allegedly stunned by her attitude.
Was I surprised? I wasn't. I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised, because if you have peripheral vision, you're going to sense these things out of the corner of your eye. You can't not know that this has been going on rampantly.
What enraged him wasn't just her behavior, it was her complete lack of humility. She'd been handed Maria in West Side Story on a silver platter, a role countless actresses would kill for, yet acted like she was doing him a favor. The breaking point came during awards season when Zegler's ego reportedly reached catastrophic levels. In an Allure interview, she made what industry veterans interpreted as a direct dig at old-school directors who can't handle strong women. Everyone knew exactly who she meant, and Spielberg had finally had enough. Page Six reported that within days of that quote going viral, casting executives started labeling her as high risk. Directors pulled out, meetings vanished, opportunities evaporated. There was no public drama, no lawsuit, no TMZ headline. Just phones that suddenly stopped ringing.
I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
She came out and she said, I apologize. Like, I went too far. But it wasn't.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime. And let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension. Racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
And that's exactly how Hollywood's elite handle problems. Spielberg didn't tweet or rant publicly. Instead, sources claim he began doing what actually matters in this town, quietly refusing to work with her and signaling others to follow suit. When Steven freaking Spielberg blacklists you, you're not just in trouble, you're finished.
The new Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler.
But the nightmare was just beginning. Fast forward to the Hunger Games prequel set in Poland. Francis Lawrence, returning to the billion-dollar franchise, allegedly walked straight into the same disaster Spielberg had experienced. From day one, Insiders claim Zegler treated the production like her personal kingdom. She reportedly demanded last-minute rewrites on locked scenes, refused costume choices because they didn't align with modern femininity, and even stormed off set over camera angles she deemed not feminine enough. Production assistants described the energy as toxic. One compared it to walking into a bomb shelter every morning, never knowing who she'd target next. What should have been smooth 10-hour shooting days allegedly stretched into 16-hour marathons because Zegler insisted on debating the emotional realism of fictional song lyrics. The crew, many who had worked on the original Hunger Games films, nicknamed those weeks the Zone, a phrase now whispered like a horror story among younger filmmakers. When the film released, critics tore her performance apart, calling it cringy, arrogant, and entirely miscast.
I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
But the real blow? Lawrence reportedly agreed with them. According to leaks from Lionsgate boardrooms, the director flat out told executives, "I'll never babysit that attitude again." Let that sink in. A franchise director, the same man who helped make Jennifer Lawrence a household name, was completely done after just one film with Zegler. Then came the phone call that changed everything. After wrapping post-production, Lawrence reportedly called someone who understood exactly what he'd been through, Steven Spielberg. What was supposed to be a private conversation allegedly leaked when a grip overheard the call on speakerphone. According to the leak, Spielberg told Lawrence, "She weaponizes her image but has no respect for the craft." Lawrence reportedly replied, "She acts like she's doing us a favor, like she's the franchise, not part of it." They weren't just commiserating, they were forming a pact. Sources claim they promised to warn others, friends, producers, agents, directors, to protect your crews from the Zegler effect. That single phrase spread like wildfire. Suddenly, her name triggered red flags at every major studio. Warner Bros. Hesitated. Universal passed. Even Paramount reportedly backed out of a streaming project when Spielberg's assistant allegedly advised, "Not advisable." Her management team panicked, reportedly sending desperate emails offering Zegler at reduced rates for indie projects. The response? Complete silence. Because when two of Hollywood's most bankable, respected directors tell people to stay away, the industry listens. Overnight, Zegler wasn't just struggling, she was radioactive. The final nail came when Snow White bombed catastrophically in March 2025. Budget? $350 million? Opening weekend, a humiliating $43 million domestic. Disney held no red carpet, no junkets, too afraid she'd create another PR disaster. Facebook insiders claimed Disney internally tagged her with a "do not hire" label. Sources say Spielberg and Lawrence recently met for lunch, not to plot revenge, but to compare notes on rebuilding set morale, budgets, and everything else Zegler allegedly shattered. Both reportedly left agreeing, "If the studios won't protect crews, we will." Zegler briefly tweeted, "Silence is violence," before deleting it minutes later. But in Hollywood, screenshots live forever, and so do the consequences of crossing its most powerful gatekeepers. The director spoke softly, but the industry heard it like a thunderclap. Rachel Zegler's meteoric rise to fame has turned into Hollywood's most brutal cautionary tale, and insiders say this is just the beginning of what's being revealed.